Okay, so let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today on something that feels, well, it feels like it should be totally innate.
Right.
The art of positive communication with our kids. I think we all assume that, if you love your child, the good communication just happens.
This flows naturally, but it doesn't.
It doesn't. And our sources today make that so clear. It is not a feeling. It is a skill. It's something you have to practice, something you have to train for.
Like learning an instrument, really. It takes conscious, focused effort.
Exactly. So our mission today is to break down the 11 most proven methods we found. And this isn't just about a parenting style. This is an investment.
A long-term one.
We're looking at how you can help build a self-confident generation, kids who are psychologically stable, who can actually express their feelings, which in this super fast-paced, tech-heavy world feels more critical than ever.
It really is. And what's so fascinating and what all the sources really come together on is this one core idea. Positive communication is the actual foundation for psychologically stable behavior. It's not a Band-Aid. It is character architecture.
I like that. Character architecture.
And the research is clear that even these small, consistent efforts, they have a huge lasting impact.
So what are we talking about big picture?
Yeah.
What are the main benefits?
Well, the sources list 5 key ones. First, you're directly boosting their self-confidence.
Okay.
Second, you're developing their emotional intelligence. I mean, the actual ability to name and manage what they're feeling.
Which is a skill a lot of adults don't even have.
Exactly. Third, it strengthens family bonds. It builds real trust. Fourth, and this is a big one, it actually improves their performance at school and with friends.
And the last one.
You're giving them communication skills that will literally serve them for their entire life in every single relationship they have.
That's the why. And it's a powerful one. Okay, so let's get into the how. We've broken these 11 methods down into 4 stages, starting with the absolute bedrock.
Building that mutual understanding.
Right. And method 1 is true listening. And this isn't passive at all. It's very intentional.
It's physical, even.
It's physical. The sources say you have to literally get down to their eye level. Look them in the eyes. But here's the crucial part. You have to let them get it all out. No interruptions, no jumping in to correct them.
We're so quick to try and fix the problem, but the child's need in that moment isn't a solution.
It's validation.
It's validation. And you can use these simple phrases like, I understand how you feel, or it sounds like you're really upset about that. You're just mirroring it back to
The payoff for doing that.
The payoff is huge. A kid who feels heard learns to use their words instead of, acting out to get your attention.
That makes perfect sense. So once you've listened and you've validated the feeling, we get to method 2.
Which is expressing feelings with words.
Right. Giving them the toolkit.
Exactly. We're now equipping them with language. The goal is to teach them to name their internal state: anger, sadness, fear, joy.
And you can use stories for this or pictures.
Or just talking about what's happening in daily life. From a brain perspective, just being able to label an emotion actually dials down its intensity. It shifts the processing from the reactive part of the brain to the thinking part.
So instead of just being overwhelmed by this big, scary feeling, they can sort of point at it and say, oh, that's anger.
Precisely.
I love the example from the sources.
Yeah.
So instead of just reacting to the tantrum when the tower falls, you get down and say,
You are angry because the block tower broke. That is a natural feeling. You validate the feeling itself.
while guiding the response. Which then brings us to method 3. This is about the environment itself.
Clarity and consistency in rules.
The rules have to be simple. They have to be specific, not some vague command to be good.
And you have to apply them consistently. No threats, no yelling.
But isn't the consistency part the absolute hardest piece for parents? When you're tired, or maybe you and your partner have different rules.
That is the trap. The sources warn about it specifically. You cannot change the rules based on your mood. That consistency is what builds security for a child. It makes their worlds predictable.
And then they're not always testing you. They're learning the rule.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the foundation: trust, validation, consistency. Now let's pivot to reinforcing the behavior we actually want to see.
Yes, moving from being reactive to being proactive. This brings us to methods 4 and 5. The guiding principle is simple. What gets reinforced gets repeated.
So method 4, positive reinforcement.
But here's the really important detail from the deep dive. You have to praise the behavior, not just the child.
This is where so much generic advice goes wrong. We just say, you're a good girl, or you're
Right.
so smart.
And what that does is it makes their sense of self really fragile. It becomes dependent on their performance. The sources say you have to be specific.
No, instead of, you're such a good artist.
You'd say, I really love how you use the color blue to draw the sky there. That took a lot of focus. You're linking the praise to a specific, controllable action.
And the reinforcement doesn't have to be a big deal, right? It could be just encouraging words or a sticker.
Or special time with you. It's about the specific focus on that action you want to see more of.
Which leads right into method 5, which is maybe the most obvious but also the hardest.
Be a role model.
The core idea is just so simple. Kids imitate way more than they listen.
It's true. If you're telling them to be patient, but then you're screaming at another driver in traffic.
They're learning that your rules don't apply when you're stressed. They're learning force is the answer.
Exactly. So it's not about being a perfect parent. It's about modeling how you handle your own frustration. Do you take a deep breath? Do you say, wow, I'm feeling really angry right now?
You're setting the standard. Okay, so now we get into what I think is the really interesting part. Let's call it crisis management.
Yes. For those inevitable moments of conflict.
Method 6 is to understand the cause before reacting.
Negative behavior is almost always a message. It's a symptom. If you just punish the symptom, you miss the root cause, and it's just going to pop up again later.
So we have to become, what, behavior detectives?
That's a great way to put it. You have to ask, are they tired? Are they hungry? Jealous? Are they just looking for attention?
So the question to ask yourself before you say anything is, what is my child trying to communicate?
Right. And if the answer is attention, that leads you directly to method 7.
Which is smart ignoring.
This is a very tactical move. You are not ignoring the child. You're strategically removing your attention from a minor attention-seeking behavior.
Like whining?
Like whining or like a theatrical pout.
Yeah.
If you engage with it, even negatively, you're reinforcing it. You're giving it the attention it wants.
So you wait for a moment of calm, even a tiny one, and then you jump in with positive attention.
You starve the negative behavior and you feed the positive connection. This is so important because it protects the next method, which is the cornerstone of teaching responsibility.
Method 8, natural and logical consequences. This always needs clarification.
It does. People hear consequence and they think punishment.
And they're not the same thing.
They are not. The sources are so emphatic about this. Punishment breeds fear and resentment. Consequences teach responsibility. They are directly and logically linked to the behavior.
Okay, so give us a concrete example.
All right. Let's say a child gets frustrated and deliberately breaks a toy. Punishment might be sending them to their room.
Which is totally unrelated.
Right. A logical consequence is that they have to participate in fixing the toy. Or if it can't be fixed, they have to use their allowance to help replace it. It's about restitution. It's about repair.
It's not about making them suffer, it's about making things right. What about something like refusing to clean up their toys?
The logical consequence is that those toys are unavailable for a while. They can't play with them later. It's a direct, predictable feedback loop. And the key is you deliver it calmly without a big emotional reaction.
Which is hard.
Very hard. But that's why we need method 9, which is the big red line. Avoid hitting and yelling.
The ultimate no-go zone.
Yes. The sources just list the damage it does. It destroys trust. It actually increases aggression in the child. And it teaches them the worst possible lesson.
That the person with the most power or the loudest voice wins.
And that completely undermines everything else we're trying to do, especially being a good role model.
Okay. So we've laid the foundation, we've reinforced the positive, and we have a logical framework for conflict. That brings us to our final stage, building the long-term safety net.
Yes, the things that secure the relationship.
And method 10 is so simple, but with huge returns. Daily special time.
Just 10 to 15 minutes a day?
But the rule is strict. It has to be totally focused. No phones, no TV in the background, no distractions.
Right. Just playing, talking, reading. The sources call this filling the child's connection bucket.
The connection bucket. I like that.
And when that bucket is full, they don't need to resort to negative behaviors to get your attention. It's like preventative medicine for acting out. It works almost immediately.
And then, underpinning all of this, the final safety net. Method 11.
Reassurance and unconditional love. You have to say the words often. I love you even when you make mistakes.
That's the critical distinction, isn't it? We reject the behavior, which we address with the consequence, but we always, always accept the child.
Their value isn't tied to their compliance on any given day. That security is what allows them to grow and take risks without being terrified of failure.
It's the whole ball game, really.
It is. And one last thing with the sources included, which is a really important safety valve.
What's that?
Knowing when you might need outside help. If you're doing all of this and a behavior is still really severe, or there's a lot of aggression or withdrawal, it's okay to consult a specialist. That's not failure. That's smart parenting.
Absolutely.
So to pull it all together, we've covered these 11 methods. And the goal isn't just to get your kid to comply right now.
It was a much bigger game.
It's an investment in their long-term character, their emotional intelligence. We've gone from the real basics, like getting on their eye level, all the way to using specific praise and logical consequences.
It's the mechanism behind the method. That's what's so powerful. Understanding why it works. And as I'm thinking about the role modeling part and the lifelong skills, it brings up a kind of provocative question.
Go on.
If we start treating positive communication less like a tactic to manage our kids and more like a mirror reflecting our own habits,
Yeah.
what hard truths does that force us to confront about ourselves this week?
Oof. That's a good one.
It makes it personal.
Yeah.
So I just encourage you, maybe pick one or two of these methods, just one. Maybe it's starting that daily special time tonight. Or maybe it's just consciously shifting every bit of praise you give to be about a specific behavior. And just see what happens. Observe the impact that one small intentional change can make.